So there's this idea at the advertising club. I know it was really big last year about brave brands and bravery in advertising. Is that still a theme that's being explored this year?
Yeah, actually, bravery is one of the ANDYS distinctions.
Okay.
So we have bravery, reset, and craft.
Okay.
Is there another one? Bravery, reset, craft. Yeah. So those are like the big, like you have your idea and then you can add one of those three. And then bravery is kind of like we have the Grandy, but bravery is like kind of like the second biggest award to like be recognized for, because it's like you and your marketer. We also like to recognize the agency and the marketer for that award. So that's why like Brave Brands we mainly try to invite the marketers, because it's the marketers that have to go hand in hand with their agency and take a leap of faith for this one big thing that could really risk it all, like Nike. And then what were the other brands? There was Nike.
Like Burger King was in there.
Burger King was in 2018.
Okay. I'm
blanking a little bit, but there was also one of the Thailand agencies for Casacorn Bank.
Okay.
So it was like kind of like this bank app that was also like, I think it was like a 6-minute narrative that was also absurd. Okay, let me backtrack a little bit. But yes, bravery is a huge thing for the ANDYS because it wants to recognize the companies, agency, and marketers that take a huge leap of faith that can risk it all.
Okay, cool.
And, yeah.
So bravery. So you would define it as like sort of bold or brave.
Yeah, it's hard to
marketing.
describe bravery without
using the word brave.
Brave, risk,
sure.
bold.
Okay, and so you mentioned two others. You said craft. So that's like the art of the
like
filmmaking,
how you put it together. Yeah, I think that like a lot of production companies are recognized in craft because it takes a lot. Like I think recognizing how something is made is one of like the important factors, because there's so many technologies that are out there. There's even with print. I think craft and for craft, it recognizes a lot of print and how something was made and the narrative and like the storytelling. I think also in art school, craft and art and craft and advertising. The idea of craft is like a long conversation of like what's considered craft. Like, is craft the visual part of it? Is craft like the storytelling of it and like how you put it together is like the production part of it. So I think craft is something that essentially the jury likes to debate. So it's a huge conversation.
That's cool. So have you seen like really interesting digital experiences or like code being represented in that craft category at all, or like something you would deem like very cross medium?
I think that also was recognized for craft, but I think that's mainly for like our reset.
Okay, cool. So we'll get into that one.
So should I go more into the craft or?
I think getting a sense of, with your background in multimedia, just like hearing the different aspects. So we got bravery. We have craft, so really a celebration of how it's made, and then as you get into some more like innovation and people talking about the other aspects, like what's Reset?
Well, Reset is like the innovation award. But
sure.
It's interesting because Reset can be as simple as maybe the bus thing. It's just like taking an idea or an obstacle and like creatively thinking about how to problem solve. I think that's one of like the huge, whether it is a technical, like whether it is solving it through like some new technology or like even like low tech, lo-fi technology. I think like one of the big, huge Reset. Oh, we also have, is that a social?
There is a fourth.
There's a fourth, so
okay.
I'll talk about that later. But also the fourth, I think one year was both Reset and Social Good.
Okay.
So it was, I think 2 years ago, the 2018 was like these wristbands that like you would like in Afghanistan that you would wear to like recognize if a child's had like do you remember those yellow cards that you got as a kid? Did you ever get them that like tells you if you're up to date on your shots?
Okay.
Or you'd bring to your doctor and then they kind of like hole punch it or write the date that you got
okay.
a specific like vaccine or something. But sometimes like these kids didn't have accessibility to
their records.
So they would wear a wristband and then like that. I think that's such a minimal it's kind of a little bit janky, but
sure.
It's like finding a solve to something that's so simple.
For sure.
Or whether it's like this really cool Braille tablet that which won last year for a reset, and it was also I think awarded for craft because it was like well designed. But like, do you ever think about like how do blind people read the internet? You know, or it's like, how do blind people read a book? You know, like sometimes you just want to read a book. Obviously, there's audiobooks, but then it's just like reading text. Like, so like basically you would upload, I don't remember exactly how it would work, but like the little Braille buttons would kind of pop out.
Okay.
So that way you can like read
cool.
on like this little device and it would like update, like you would see like you would go through the dots.
Moving,
It was called Dot Mini. So it would
cool.
just like, these dots would come out and I'm like, whoa, like this is so simple and it's cool technology, but essentially it is just like dots coming up. Yeah, it's huge game changer, but
that's really cool.
Yeah.
Okay, so then you mentioned so those were from the reset and the social good category. There's the social good.
That one
category.
wasn't social good.
Okay.
Yeah, but social good is basically any work done for a nonprofit. Let me remember who won this year's social good. Oh, actually it was for March for Our Lives.
Okay.
Like a piece done for March for Our Lives. What was the work? Oh, Price for Our Lives. Was it Price for Our Lives that won? Yes, I believe. Price for Our Lives, which was like the, they did these tags for basically in each state how much you were worth.
Wow.
But I think it was like relative, I don't remember exactly, but it was relative to like gun violence and like the cost of guns and like losing that over losing a child's life.
Whoa.
So it's like how much was a child's life calculated based on like the cost of guns and the selling of guns, which is basically like in like some countries, some states it was like just national, and then like let's say in New York State you were worth like 119. Not exactly what it was, but this is what I'm pulling from my head.
Sure.
But so it was like these kids marched and they had like these tags on them, and it's like recognizing that a child's life is worth like cents or like a couple dollars is heartbreaking. That like, and that was kind of like a minimal technology. Didn't win for reset, but it was for social good, and social good is just recognizing great work for nonprofits.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, so you get to see all this really amazing work and prime it for the jury, and so it's been awesome to get like an understanding of that and the different categories and how you are involved in the process and learning how your art and your own personal lens influences that. So in the couple minutes here, like, is there anything I haven't asked you yet that you want to share or that you feel like you're really jamming on this year, like really excited about, or?
So much I'm excited about, but
anything you think these millions of viewers should know about the ANDYS or your artist statement?
Okay, one, the ANDYS rock, and I didn't go too much in the live judging part, but the live judging is amazing, and if you want to learn about what makes great advertising, go check it out. And then two, I didn't really go into intersectionality, but just like when you're in a space with like people of color or just like people in general, like recognize, I think always be nice, and recognizing that intersectionality is like basically how everyone's identity comes from everywhere, and that there's always something to be mindful about, basically. That's kind of like my PSA.
Definitely. Well, you heard it here from Enas, Hassan on Mega Shift
Mega
today. And that has been our awesome session. It's been amazing having you, and we'll catch everybody next time. See ya.
Bye. Thank you.